Hi there, I'm Amanda, a technical support engineer here at Plugable. If you're a returning subscriber, we thank you. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Go ahead and give that subscribe button a click so you don't ever miss a video. And if you're so inclined, please show some love to those like and share buttons too. Many Ultrabooks, tablets, and high-end computers include DisplayPort ports as their only built-in video output. Meanwhile, most monitors, projectors, and televisions tend to only offer VGA, DVI, or HDMI inputs. In the war of DisplayPort versus HDMI, we're left with a mix of computers using one standard and displays using the other. Plugable's DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort to HDMI active and passive adapters are here to bridge the gap between the DisplayPort and HDMI trenches. Our VISA-certified DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort to HDMI active adapters support 4K Ultra HD resolution up to 3840 by 2160 at 60 Hz refresh rate. They also support the lower Quad HD or QHD resolutions of 2560 by 1600 and 2560 by 1440 at 60 Hz. 2K resolution or 1920 by 1080 is supported as well at a whopping 120 Hz. And good news, gamers, both adapters are AMD iFinity compatible for 3 or more displays, and they support 7.1 surround sound. Our full-size DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort active HDMI adapters are equipped with an HDMI 2.0 female port. In order to display at full 4K resolution, the host system must support 4K resolutions, the HDMI cable being used must be HDMI 2.0 compliant, and the connected display must also support HDMI 2.0 standards. Also, please be aware that Apple doesn't support 4K at 60 Hz output on the majority of older Mac systems, so the refresh rate at 4K will likely be limited to 30 Hz. Along with our active DisplayPort adapters, we also have 6 passive adapters available, one set for converting from DisplayPort and another for Mini DisplayPort. Both sets include DVI, VGA, and HDMI adapters for displays supporting those types of video connections. In front of me, we also have my Lenovo ThinkPad P50 connected to this ViewSonic monitor via one of our passive Mini DisplayPort to DVI adapters through the ThinkPad's Mini DisplayPort port. Right next to the ThinkPad, we have a typical video card with a built-in DisplayPort output, which pairs well with our DisplayPort adapters, like the DisplayPort to HDMI active adapter connected to it. The passive DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort to HDMI adapters support up to 4K resolutions at 30 Hz and resolutions of 2560 by 1440 and below at 60 Hz. These passive HDMI adapters also support audio transmission. Our DVI and VGA versions of the passive DisplayPort adapter support up to 1920 by 1200 resolutions at 60 Hz, and they do not include audio support due to the way DVI and VGA connections were made. By now you might be wondering, what's the difference between active and passive adapters? The short answer is that DisplayPort is a very unique video connection standard. The long answer is that DisplayPort has a function known as dual mode or DisplayPort++, which allows other signal types to be passed through the DisplayPort connector, including TMDS, which is the signaling required by HDMI and DVI displays. Passive adapters rely entirely on the dual mode DisplayPort functionality in conjunction with voltage boost, so if your computer doesn't feature DisplayPort++ technology, your only option is an active DisplayPort adapter, like our DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort to HDMI active adapters. If your system supports DisplayPort++, our collection of passive DisplayPort adapters has got you covered for every possible DisplayPort and Mini DisplayPort conversion scenario. Both our active and passive adapters will work with almost any DisplayPort-enabled host, as well as practically any HDMI, DVI, or VGA display, regardless of operating system, making all of them compatible with Windows, macOS, and Linux. Please feel free to ask any questions you might have in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed watching that video. Here's some of our other videos for you to check out. Thanks for subscribing, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Google+.